Hello, my name's Fernando Barajas, and today with me I have Emily and Yvette. And the person we chose today is Juana Manuela Gorriti. So an overview about Miss Gorriti right here is that she is Argentinian and Peruvian, born in Argentina, and has Peruvian descent. She wrote novels, short stories, essays, often explore themes such as gender roles and social issues, which is honestly pretty good for the 1800s because women were not allowed to do many things back then. Yeah. She was married to Manuel Isidro Besu. Her parents are Jose Ignacio Gorriti and Felicia Subirria. Family of soldiers. She was a soldier as well as her father was a soldier, so that's why that title. She received a Medal of Honor from the Peruvian military for saving Peruvian soldiers when she was a battle field nurse, which is amazing to put your life on the line for your country as well as fellow people from your own country. So I think that's amazing. As well as her father um, was a politician as well as a soldier. And so just being a soldier runs in blood for the Garriti family. And as well as he signed the Argentinian Declaration of Independence in July 9th, 1816. Wow, what an accomplishment and to sign the Declaration of Independence as well as for her to have a father figure to be as important as he is. For timeline, I have that she was born in 1818. Specifically, she was born in June 15, 1818 in Rosario de la Frontera, Argentina. Again, she was married in 1831 to Manuel. The first book she wrote was in 1848, and the name of the book is La Quena. Uh, the last book she wrote was in 1888. Well, that was the last book that she published, and the name of the book is L'Oasis en la Vida. She sadly passed away in 1892, specifically November 6, 1892, at the age of 78 years old in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Uh, she was an amazing woman. She did everything she could for her community. As you can see, she built a school in Bolivia. Um, she established a school, an all-girls school, which is honestly even better in Bolivia. What she really wanted to do was teach as well as writing. Her journey often reflected her strong feminine beliefs, as well as Gorriti wrote a large number of novels and many short stories. Um, she just wanted to help her community and help all those little girls to show that it was possible. So I think that she is a symbol of anything's possible. Um, just as long as you want it and you're willing to work for it. As you can see, she built a school. Some of her work is, well, the book she wrote is Sueños en Realidades, as well as Los Años of Life and our nat Nature Life land, as well as she's also the first spouse of Bolivia from 1948 to 1855. Um, it's awesome that her husband was a president of Bolivia, as well as she was the first lady. So she has a lot of experience and a lot of grit. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Yvette, and I will be sharing on the political and social and historical dimensions of Juana Manuela Gorriti. I will begin with the political dimensions of her life. So, Juana Manuela Gorriti's family was forced into exile in Bolivia as a result of the violent occurrences of the Argentinian Civil War. Her father's well-known status as a Unitarian leader caused their family to become targets of the political strife of the time, which led to their exile. Gorriti and her family fled to Bolivia in search for safety from the destruction of war, as they were confronted with the uncertainty and dangers of war. But Gorriti's family's banishment from Argentina was only the beginning of her journey of dislocation. By a strange turn of events, she was drawn into a marriage with Manuel Isidorio Bezu, a powerful caudillo in Bolivia and military officer. It was difficult and finally resulted in a divorce. Another turbulent chapter of Gorriti's life ended with her marriage. Following her divorce from Belzu, Gorriti found comfort and safety in the warm embrace of Peru. However, even in this new sanctuary, Gorriti's existence was plagued with the constant threat of being displaced. Her peace was destroyed again when her ex-husband, who had become president of Bolivia, took back custody of their girls, sending Gorriti into yet another period of suffering from being apart from her daughters. Gorriti's life therefore became an icon to both the unrelenting advance of political instability and the arbitrary nature of fate. Her experiences with family, strife, and exile served as a devastating reminder of how vulnerable human existence is in the face of historical change. Nevertheless, Gorriti's unwavering spirit persisted in the face of chaos and uncertainty, acting as a symbol of resilience and strength in the face of difficulty. Now, Gorriti and her political impact. So Gorriti wrote about a variety of topics in her literary works, including gender roles, political disputes, interracial marriage, and the lives of those that were marginalized. Her writings portrayed women who struggled with social upheaval and displacement while defying patriarchal conventions. Gorriti presented a social commentary on topics like women's rights and the effects of colonialism in Latin America, Latin American society through novels. Now, Gorriti's social struggles. So her social struggles included resilience and adaptation, literary impact, social commentary, legacy. So Juana Manuela Gorriti showed incredible resilience in the face of severe hardships and disturbances brought about by her relocation, and she persisted in engrossing herself in a wide range of artistic and academic pursuits. Accepting Lima, Peru as her new home, Gorriti adapted herself easily into the city's thriving literary scene and became involved in a number of cultural communities. Gorriti made a major impact in the literary scene by starting the journal La Alborada del Plata. This journal acted as a light for understanding, seeking to promote the development of poetry, science, and the writing in the New World. With La Alborada del Plata, Gorriti aimed to further Latin America's emerging cultural identity and raise the standard of intellectual conversations. Gorriti produced a large and varied body of work in a variety of genres and media. Her body of work included essays, short stories, novels, memoirs, and legends. All of them were deeply reflective and full of firsthand experience. In fact, Gorriti's poems frequently reflected her own turbulent exile journey and the disillusion of her family and the cultural revolutions of that time. Now, Gorriti was a skilled writer who expertly combined the elements of her own life story with the larger socio-political backdrop of her day in the literary works. She spoke about the human condition against the context of the political turmoil and cultural change with her moving tales and perceptive observations. Through giving voice to the underprivileged and oppressed, Gorriti's works illuminated the details of displacement and the human spirit's resiliency in face of hardship. So, in spite of the enormous challenges that were posed by relocation, Juana Manuela Gorriti became a shining example of creativity and intellectual ability. Her enduring status as a literary genius of the New World is ensured by her unrelenting devotion to cultural enrichment and her profound insight into the human experience, which continue to resonate with readers across generations. So historically, Gorriti was alive during the Argentinian Civil War from 1818 to 1861. And because of her father's role as the Unitarian leader through the conflict, Gorriti's family was banished to Bolivia. Gorriti's early experiences were influenced by this time of political turmoil, which also played a role in her eventual exile from her native country. She was also alive during the post-independence era in Latin America. After the continent gained its freedom from the colonial oppression, Gorriti lived through a time of profound political and social transformation. Her experiences are representative of the difficulties and doubts people have when adjusting to the shift from colonial to republican governance. She was alive during the emergence of cosmopolitan centers. Gorriti's move to Lima, Peru, and then to Buenos Aires, Argentina, exemplifies the 19th century development of cosmopolitan centers in Latin America. People like Gorriti were able to pursue their creative and literary interests because of these urban centers developed into centers of intellectual and cultural activity. And lastly, she historically played a part in changing gender roles. Gorriti's life and work provide insights into the changing expectations and roles that women face in Latin America during the 19th century. And Gorriti's experiences mirror larger changes in gender dynamics and societal conventions during this time, from the rise of the female consumer to the symbolic role of the Republican mother.
Hi guys, I'm Emily. So in this portion, I'm going to be talking about how Juana Manuela Gorriti helped lead to the different developments of different Latin American identities. The main identity she had a huge impact on was primarily women, the woman identity. She did that by doing a lot of feminism, acts of feminism. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. So in the 19th century, the world was primarily run by men, especially in Latin America. Even though that's still kind of true today, the women back then had a lot less rights than we do now, unfortunately. The men's were the ones that were typically going off into war and running everything, right? Being the leaders of everything. They were the head of the house and all that. And even though Juana Manuela Gorriti still worked as a battlefield nurse, she was still considered just a woman. She tried fixing that problem by advocating for other women as well, because it wasn't just her that wanted to see a change in the way that they were being treated. So most of her work back then included a theme of feminism, even in her books. Um, so her books gave her a chance to show people how women deserve to be equal to men. And she did that all with the power of just her words. For example, she wrote a lot of action packed tragedies that had feminism in it, which inspired many other women to write the same way she was writing. Apart from that, she would also host tertulias or salons where women would join her so they could discuss the issues that they were dealing with. They also took this time to be more educational by discussing literature and writing as well. Um, this also shows us just how much she prioritized education because she took the time out of her day just to help out other women by teaching them different things. This only pushed her even more since she did run an all-girls school dedicated to helping young girls start their education. Since women wouldn't really read at this time, it was kind of like looked down upon, it was really taboo. It made women smart in the long run because she helped them improve their knowledge, so she was doing the stuff that they didn't want her to do. And Juana Manuela Gorriti also discussed multiple issues like feminism and stuff in her newspaper that she founded herself. It was called La Albordada del Plata, or the Argentina Dawn, which helped push feminism further. So her importance in Latin American pop culture today is that she fought for women's rights. So that a lot of that is reflected in today's writings because it encouraged women. So women in Latin America, I think, wouldn't be the way they are today if it wasn't for the fight that Juana put up for them, because she paved the way. And there's a difference in diverse communities and times now because what she wrote back then is much different from what we write now. For example, she didn't have the rights that we have now, so that's what she would write about. So we look at it differently now. However, like it was impactful at that time, and like I said, it paved the way. In the 1800s, what she was writing about was typically considered strange, but she made a difference for us women. And she also had huge accomplishments, such as the all girls school we mentioned that she ran. And yeah, that's basically all. Thank you guys for listening, and I really hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Juana Manuela Gorriti and all the positive things she had to do for Latin American society.